Okay, folks, we are on lesson 3.4, slope-intercept form. We're on page 199. So if you're not there yet, pause the video and get to that page. Okay, we're going to look at a new equation called slope-intercept form. So we're going to look at the very bottom of this page 199. So this is a slope-intercept form. Y equals mx plus b. This is slope-intercept form. Y equals mx plus b. M is your slope. M represents your slope. B represents the y-intercept. So remember, let's write this down. The way you can find what this number is that goes next to your x, what way you can find slope is either rise over run or y minus y over x minus x, the change in the y over the change in the x. So you can use either one of these two ways to find the slope of your line, and that number goes here next to your x. The b is your y-intercept. This is the point where the line crosses the y-axis. The point where the line crosses the y-axis, that number will go right here in place of the b. So if you take a look at this graph right here above, see this line is crossing the y-axis at this point right there. So whatever that number is, it could be 2, around 2 or so it looks like, you would put 2 in place of the y right there. So wherever your line crosses the y-axis, that is your y-intercept. Okay, so let's take a look at page 200. So turn your page, let's look at 200. Again, slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. Remember, m is your slope, and the b is your y-intercept, where the line crosses the y-axis. Okay, so if you take a look at number 1, where it says state the slope and the y-intercept of the graph of the equation, as long as your equation is in slope-intercept form, which this is, then you can state exactly what your slope is and what your y-intercept is. So y equals mx plus b. Remember, your b can be a positive or a negative number. So this is in slope-intercept form, so I can say the slope is this number right here next to your x. See, the slope is next to your x. So slope is 2/3, or I can say m is 2/3. I can state the slope this way or use m. And then the y-intercept is this number at the very end right here. So this is -4. So the y-intercept is -4, or I can say b equals -4 because b represents your y-intercept. So again, as long as your equation is in slope-intercept form, you can state the slope and the y-intercept. Okay, so take a look at A. Let's do A together on these got it problems. Okay, so is this in slope-intercept form? Y equals mx plus b? Yes, it is. So we can state the slope. This is your slope. So slope is -5. And this is your y-intercept. Y-intercept is +3. Okay, let's try another one. We're going to state the slope and the y-intercept. Y equals mx plus b. Okay, this is in slope-intercept form, so the number next to your x is your slope. So your slope is 1/4, and the y-intercept is the number at the end, your b. So your y-intercept is -6 in this case. And let's try one more. So y equals mx plus b. This is in slope-intercept form, so the slope, remember, is the number next to your x. This represents a -1. So our slope in this case is a -1, and our y-intercept, where the line crosses the y-axis, is +5. Okay, so now on number 2, when you have problems like this, where it says write an equation of a line in slope-intercept form with the slope of -3 and a y-intercept of -4. So slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. Write an equation of the line in slope-intercept form. Okay, with a slope of -3, so that means you're going to plug in -3 right here. So you'll write y equals -3x and a y-intercept of -4. So you would write -4 at the end. All we're doing is taking the slope that we're given and the y-intercept that we're giving and plugging them into their spots in slope-intercept form. Okay, now one last one. Let's take a look at writing an equation in slope-intercept form. So take a look at this problem. Writing an equation for the graph shown in slope-intercept form. So we have to write our final answer in y equals mx plus b order. Okay, so we have to find the slope, and then we have to find the y-intercept. So remember, slope, locate any 2 points that land on your line. So I'll do these 2 points right here. Any 2 points that land on your line and rise and run to find the slope. Or I can use these coordinates and plug it into the change in y over change in x formula. So I'm going to rise and run. I'm going to start at my lower point and I'm going to rise. So my rise is 1. I went up 1. Now I'm right here and I'm going to run to this next point. 1, 2, and I ran left. So my slope is -1/2. This line is going down from left to right. So because my slope is -1/2, I'm going to write that right here next to my x. First I find 2 points that land on my line and I find the slope, rise and run. That goes here. Now remember, your y-intercept is where the line crosses the y-axis, and that number goes here. So this line is crossing the y-axis at 1, 2, 3, 4, +4. So +4 is my y-intercept. And we have this equation in slope-intercept form. Okay, let's try one more. Let's write an equation in slope-intercept form for this line. Slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. So again, I have to find the slope and the y-intercept. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is find 2 points that land on the line so I can rise and run and find the slope. So let's use this point and this point. Let's take those two. Well, and again, you can pick any 2 points you want. So now I'm going to rise. I'm going to start at the lower point and rise 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so my rise is 4. Now I'm right here and I'm going to run 1, 2. My run is 2. And this slope is positive, so 4 divided by 2